Today's episode of The Mom Game is presented by our friends at Gateway GMC at LBJ and Jupiter. I know that buying a car can be stressful, but not at Gateway because their slogan is, Gateway's got it. And just what does that mean? Well, it means Gateway's got a wide selection of new GMCs and GM-certified used vehicles, all competitively priced. Gateway's got it. When you log on to gatewaygmc.com, look for the Shop, Click, Drive button. This allows you to shop from the comfort of your home, and who doesn't want that? In fact, it's as easy as 1, 2, 3. 1, select your vehicle. 2, create your offer. 3, schedule that delivery. And on top of all this, Gateway GMC offers complimentary car washes for life. So when you want a dealer who has it all, Gateway's got it. You can find them online at gatewaygmc.com or shop in person at LBJ and Jupiter. GMC, we are professional grade. And welcome inside the Coppola Studios for episode 301 of The Mom Game.
I apologize for screaming if you're listening.
I know. You
audio only. That was probably very jarring.
Some things never change. Julie screaming at the cork popping will never change.
It scares me.
301 of The Mom Game. We've got, this is our last one before Christmas, and then we have best of episodes the next 2 weeks. So we are wrapping up 2025.
It's a great one too.
Style. It's so good.
Might I say?
It's so good, especially for me. So yeah, episode 301 is coming your way. We have a couple of very special guests. One we have been talking about for a couple of weeks. I've been alluding to the fact that we were hoping to get her on, and we did. And another very special guest that I think Red Raiders will want to definitely pay attention to. So we can say the first one.
We could say both because this is going to live forever.
No, we
not
can't.
Live.
We want to.
Okay.
We got to tease. We got to hold people in suspense. So our first one is Emma Rodriguez, wife of Jacob Rodriguez, the stud all everything linebacker from Texas Tech. His wife, who is a badass. She is a Blackhawk helicopter pilot in the Army. She's amazing. So I slid in her DMs, or I put a plea out on social media, and she slid in my DMs, and we were going to have her on the show.
It was
today.
a mutual slide.
It was a mutual slide. It was a
she's
two-way
amazing.
slide.
She's amazing. One of those people that you chat with her for a while, and you're like, damn, I need to do more shit in life.
But it's too late for us.
It is too late
She's
for
young.
us.
She's young.
Maybe our kids.
Yeah. Maybe they'll inspire our children.
Yeah.
So big show coming up. We're going to do some catching up over Coppola wine. Give us some good news on Coppola, because it's perfect for the holidays.
So good. The Diamond Collection is perfect for the holidays. In fact, I have had it now at 2 holiday parties. Just having it on hand at my house is so helpful. It's a nice little mom hack. Also, their Claret Cabernet Sauvignon, that's the perfect pairing for all your meals. So your big fancy Christmas dinner, you can have some of that, have some Coppola Prosecco to start, and then some Cabernet to finish off the night.
Maybe some shimmer in between.
Why not? Just mix it all in. But that Cabernet did receive a 93-point rating from Wine Enthusiast magazine. That's the highest rating the wine has ever received. We love our friends at Coppola. They're proud supporters of the Do It for Durrett Foundation. They'll be the official wine of the Charles Schwab Challenge coming up in May. Francis Ford Coppola Winery, Geyserville, Sonoma County, California. Please drink responsibly.
Yes, and a huge supporter of the Do It for Durrett Foundation, which I love. And also, I did want to mention a little shout out to our presenting sponsor who's been with us from day one, Gateway GMC. Got a text or phone call from my father-in-law last week and was like, hey, think you can help me out with a new car? And I was like, I sure can. And I sent him to our dude Pope over at Gateway GMC. He's having a new car delivered because my father-in-law was not going to drive to Gateway all the way over in East Dallas. He's in Fort Worth, and they're like, oh, we'll bring it to you. So he's getting his car delivered today.
Pope, that's our friend too that helped
Yeah.
Kelly,
I mean, it really is. One, what is it? 1, select your vehicle. 2, create your offer. 3, schedule the delivery. That's exactly what he did.
Easy peasy. No one needs more stress in their life when it comes to buying a car.
Especially not this time of year.
Gateway.
Okay, it's almost Christmas, Julie. What's happening?
A lot is happening, but I have one little scenario this morning that kind of sums it all up.
Okay.
Rushing around. We have a big show today. I wanted to get my shit together, look nice, have my head on straight, dealing with husband who's sick. He's got He's had a lot of holiday cheer lately.
In quotation marks.
He's all like, the thing is that he's like underlying sick, and then he keeps having holiday cheer, so he can't get better. And then every morning he's like, I hate to just be blasting him, but I mean, I feel like wives can relate to this. Every morning he's just like, oh, I just don't know what's wrong with me. I just feel so bad every day. Like this morning it was, can you wake up and deal with the kids? Like, I don't want to do it all either. I would also love to sleep all morning, but now you're putting it on me. So anyway, it's easy to do during the holidays because it does feel like there's something every night.
Yeah.
That you can be celebrating. In fact, we have the mom game celebration tonight, which I'm excited about. But I had to like just say, you know what, like just stay home. Like you take care of the kids. That actually helps me enjoy myself a little more because I'm not having to worry about a sitter and all that with the activities and bedtime. Like, can you please just recover? Can you please just get better?
I need 100% of you.
Right.
Or at least like 75.
Yeah. So, but it is fun. There's a lot to celebrate right now. And so I went from that to kind of like trying to get my shit together. And I'm like pouring one last cup of coffee before I hit the road. And I take the coffee creamer out of the fridge and shake it up a little bit. Guess who didn't put the lid on it before they put it in the fridge? Me.
Oh, okay.
So guess it goes everywhere. Like it's in my hair right now. I can smell it. Like it was all over the kitchen, all over my shirt. Like it looks like some sort of explosion of some sort.
Bless.
Yeah. So that's how my life is going.
Yeah.
In one story.
Okay.
But
well,
we're here.
Yeah, but we're here.
Yep.
Yeah, I feel like I'm ready. I'm ready for excuse me.
Emily's burping.
Bubbles. I'm ready for the break. Like,
yes.
And I'm sure I'll be ready for him to go back to school and get back into that routine. But I am ready for the break. I'm ready for not waking up at 5:15 in the morning so I can get everything done and get on my ridiculous, routine. I'm ready to just not have a bunch of practices and activities and things and obligations to where it's just like we just get to kind of veg out and enjoy.
We need it.
I know.
All need it.
I think everybody does. And like Hattie came home from school the other day and she's like, so one of her teachers was like so moody. And I'm like, well, think about it. She's ready. She's ready for a break from you.
Yeah.
And all of you. Like they are those teachers. God bless them. They need it
They're
more than
barely
anybody.
hanging on.
Yes.
They're barely hanging on.
And they're trying now that we're, middle school, it's like finals and all this testing happens right before the break. And so I'm sure they're just like, just get us to it's not even the finish line. It's the halfway point where we get an intermission from these children. And so, yeah, I think everybody's ready, but I'm excited. I got most of my shopping done. We have no plans to go anywhere. We kind of entertained the idea of going to, or at least I did, going to Miami for the Orange Bowl to support my Red Raiders. And it was just going to be logistically too much. Yeah. And I'm just hoping and praying that I have another opportunity that I could make the next round or the ultimate round work. But so I am going to root them on from my couch. I intend to I don't know what I'm going to do. I guess if I don't really have a whole lot of Red Raider fans or friends that are not going to the game that will be in town. So I don't know. I don't know exactly how I'm going to take it in, but I'm just so excited for that.
Sometimes there's nothing better than watching football at home on the couch.
Yes.
And I say sometimes, I almost mean all the time. I just almost prefer that.
I know.
But you obviously love going back and know everybody there and even the head coach and everything else.
Oh, the head coach.
So I can imagine that it's hard to not go, but I think that'll be good for you.
Yeah.
Amidst all this chaos.
Yeah. I mean, and traveling over the holiday and like flying, I'm really still pissed like that. Why didn't we line up for the Cotton Bowl? But I get it. Whatever.
That would have been cool.
It would have been so cool.
Would have been like a home game.
I know. It would have been ridiculous. But anyway, so yeah, I'm excited for the break. I'm excited for, I obviously love you and love doing our show, but I'm also kind of excited for like a 2-week reset for us to where we can kind of get our brains around some things and get ourselves together.
Some stuff for the new
We are working on some stuff.
It'll be good to have a little bit of extra time to do that.
And we'll still be here the next 2 weeks because it's best of.
It's best of. So I'm excited for those shows to be on TV too.
Yeah.
because I think we do have like a new wave of people watching on TV. If you're watching on TV, hi.
Yeah.
And it can kind of catch them up too with what we've been doing over the last year. So best of shows coming up the next 2 weeks. And I think this show, I won't make it, but this is one of our best shows today.
I know, because it is a very Texas Tech centric show, which makes me very happy. But also to a good time to highlight one of our local teams. And obviously I have a huge bias toward the Red Raiders.
Yeah.
But they're moving and shaking.
Yeah.
I mean, first round bye in the playoffs, and then they'll play the winner of Oregon, JMU on New Year's Day in Miami. So super excited for this show. And should we go ahead and get to our guests brought to us by some of our very special friends?
Yes.
Anything else we need to?
Just our friends. We just need to give,
Yeah, I didn't know if we had anything else you wanted to discuss before we get to our friends.
I don't think so. I think, we got to give them some room.
Yeah, for sure. So we know our first guest is Emma Rodriguez, and but our second guest, you'll definitely want to stick around for. It's a big surprise. Okay, and these guests are brought to us by our friends at Early Bird CBD and our new friends at Upswing Golf. We know that Early Bird CBD is a huge player in my life. I put on social media just the other night watching the Cowboys game. This is a necessity if you're a Cowboys fan. So I popped a couple early birds, got in bed, and fell asleep in the third quarter, which was actually better because I didn't have to watch them lose another game. Still love the Cowboys, but they're not real great right now. But the Mom Game 20 is now active. Actually, it's just Mom Game 20, which I shared with a viewer. He messaged me after I posted that and was like, is there a code? I need some. And I was like, yes, it's Mom Game 20. It's active and good for 20% off your first order online. It's a new code, so it can be used by someone once, even if you have ordered previously from earlybirdcbd.com. Just go to their website, use that code at checkout. It does have a microdose of THC from hemp. It's very legal. It's all very much above board, but that little hint of THC does give you that little calming
takes the edge
effect. It takes the edge off. Changed my life, and I'm not even lying. It's the Early Birds have done wonders for me in the sleep department, in the chill department, because it's kind of hard sometimes for my mind to chill. But thanks to Early Bird, we're doing a much better job. So earlybirdcbd.com, use code MOMGAME20 to take advantage of 20% off.
Ooh, I have another code to share with our listeners. Bro50 will get you $50 off of your new Upswing Kids Golf Clubs. Why don't you go to the website right now? You're just chilling. Your phone's probably in your hand. Upswinggolf.com to go check these things out. They are brilliant golf clubs that actually grow with your kids, so you don't have to keep replacing them over and over and over because kids grow so quickly. That's a lot of money when you're buying that many sets of golf clubs. This is just one set that will adjust as your kid grows. It keeps your juniors confident on the course because they're not having to readjust to different golf clubs over and over and over. It's real performance, kid-sized engineering. They're not toy clubs. They are tour grade, tech engineered specifically for young players. You can use starter, what they call the smallest size, to varsity. That's where Ryder's at. He's 10 years old. Super excited. He is going to be getting a set of these Upswing golf clubs very soon, and I think it's going to help inspire him to go out onto the golf course even more, which is great. They are modular growth kits, all in one system. They let families upgrade instead of rebuying. They make the journey simple and affordable for youth golfers. This company was started by a couple of hockey dudes, friends of Kelly's, who are now my friends too. They saw a problem in the marketplace. They solved that problem, and that's what Upswing golf clubs are all about. And you'll be seeing them in plenty of stores coming soon because they're just growing so quickly. They have interchangeable shafts, so those clubs grow with your kids. One more time, Grow50 gets you $50 off. Grow50, upswinggolf.com. And as we have alluded to, this is a super packed, awesome, fun show, especially for Red Raider fans or just fans of wonderful people doing wonderful things. Let's get this Texas Tech party started.
And we have been talking about this for a couple of weeks. I don't know that I can't remember the last time I was this excited about an interview.
You're very geek.
I am so excited. She is Emma Rodriguez. She is the wife of Jacob Rodriguez, who is the super stud linebacker for Texas Tech, for my Red Raiders. And But enough about him. She's a badass.
Yeah.
So she is an Army Blackhawk helicopter pilot, and she's married to Jacob, which is just kind of the footnote. But I wanted to have Emma on because I think she's a fascinating story. I think they're a fascinating story. And of course, I love Texas Tech. And I have to tell the story about how we got connected. So Emma, welcome to the Mom Game, first of all.
Hi, thank you. I'm really excited to be here.
I'm so excited. So I rarely put out public pleas on social media, but I got this awesome J-Rod for Heisman t-shirt. And so I wore it and took a picture, put it on Instagram. And I was like, so excited for the t-shirt and for the season we're having. And then I said, if anybody knows at Emma, or whatever her social media handle is, Instagram handle is, tell her we want her on the Mom Game. And so I don't know if someone alerted her or if she saw it, but then she slid in my DMs and she was like, let's make it happen. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so exciting.
That's how the kids talk to each other these days, though.
I actually had a couple people send it to me, so
oh yay. Okay.
It really worked out well.
That makes me happy. Okay. Well, Emma, I want to talk about you, first of all. You're a Blackhawk helicopter pilot. Like, how does this happen? If you can tell me.
Well, after high school I went to West Point, and I was very fortunate to be able to do that. And all of my mentors whenever I was a cadet at West Point were all aviators in some sense. Either they were Apache pilots, Blackhawk pilots, Chinook pilots, you name it, they all did it in the Army. And I wanted to be exactly like them, so that's what I did.
Okay, what is the training like? Like, I'm scared to fly, much less pilot
to
something.
sit in a plane
Right.
in first class.
Yeah,
very scared.
The fact that you're piloting these things for our country is just phenomenal to me. So, what is the training that's involved? At what age, you mentioned, going to West Point. At what age did you kind of set your sights on that?
Well, I had one mentor going into West Point. I was probably about 18 years old whenever that first kind of became a reality for me that I was going to go to West Point. But I didn't really decide to branch aviation until I was maybe 20 or 21. But once you branch aviation, I received a 10-year service obligation, service commitment to the Army once I decided that aviation was what I wanted to do. And then you go to Fort Rucker for training. And it's actually super crazy. You fly the Lakota or whatever. I think they're about to change the training aircraft, but after you fly the training aircraft, you go and fly whatever your advanced airframe is. And I was so incredibly lucky and thankful to get Blackhawks. It's exactly what I wanted. I wanted to fly UH-60s. But after you select your airframe and even your first day of flying, it's called Common Core, but it's the baby aircraft. After the first day you fly that, you go through 2 weeks of ground school, which is where you learn about how the national airspace works. You learn about weather, you learn about basic systems of the Lakota, or whatever aircraft it is now. And then you learn how to start up the engines. That's the only thing that you do in a simulator before you get an aircraft. We have simulators for all aircraft and they're pretty realistic. And after you learn how to start at the aircraft, you go into the aircraft, start the engines, your IP, your instructor pilot will take off. And then in flight, they'll be like, all right, you have the flight controls. And you're like,
oh my God,
are you sure? And the first time you fly, truly fly an aircraft, it's your first time flying. Within 10 hours of you learning how to, learning what an aircraft is. If you didn't have I had no prior flight experience, so I was learning what transmission, what an engine was, there's a bunch of aerodynamics that go into flying. It was my first time learning any of it. I had no clue. And within 10 hours of learning all of that, got in the aircraft and my instructor pilot goes, all right, you have the flight controls. And I was like, you really don't want that. But then it's literally an instructor pilot who is so incredibly confident in their flying abilities, goes and flies with somebody who's literally never flown before in their entire life. And then you literally just learn how to fly in the aircraft. So,
oh my gosh,
it's crazy, but it's so much fun. Because once you learn how all the systems within the aircraft work, it can work for you instead of against you. And new pilots, a lot of the time, they work against the aircraft. And then the Blackhawk is the exact same way. You learn how to start the engines, and then you go into the Blackhawk, and like, it's kind of a little bit more crazy because you already know how to fly. So your instructor is already like, all right, well, you know how to hover, so you can just hover the Blackhawk. And you're like, I don't know if I should do that. Because the Blackhawk is 2 or 3 times, I guess, the size of a Lakota. Like, you can sling a Lakota from a Blackhawk. Like, I could carry it. But
this is giving me so
I have
much
so
anxiety.
many questions. Like, do you bring a purse or coffee, or like, are there good cup holders in there?
So there's no cup holders, but I do bring. This is my water bottle. Every like pilot has a water bottle, but it's like mine's super beat up because I've dropped it a million times. But like, you just bring a large water and you can set it like either in the back with your crew chiefs or there's like this hook you can hang it on like right behind your head.
Okay.
But, I do bring what's called a flight purse. Well, it's called a flight bag. But whenever I was in the Lakota course, I had an instructor pilot who was like, this is my flight purse. And it's very traditional for all aviators to have a flight bag. It's just like a little bag that you keep your publications in, you keep your iPad in, you keep your knee board, which is like you fly with this thing on your leg and you can like write notes to yourself or like write notes about your student.
While you're flying?
It has your checklist on it while you're flying. Yeah. Wow. So you have like what's on your leg and then you have like your checklist. Like if you had an emergency in the aircraft, you have these reference cards that like tell you how to deal with the emergency. But so you fly, you bring that in what's called a publication bag, but I call it my flight purse. And I keep my publications in it. I keep like a snack in it. And then I just either fly with it by my seat, or if I'm not in the seat where I can fly with it by my seat, I put it in the back. And then if I need something from it.
Oh my gosh. What a fabulous answer.
Yeah, I know. And I think flight purse is a good term.
I wish I had mine with me right now. It's at the office. I just keep it in my locker at work. So I don't have it with me.
Okay. But where's your office? Where is work?
Fort Riley, Kansas.
Okay. And how does this work with for one more question about the whole flying thing. Probably there's going to be more, but how many people are on this Blackhawk helicopter? Like, do we have reinforcements if something happens? You got a co-pilot, or what are we doing here?
You have to always fly. You can't like pilot a Blackhawk by yourself. But you're always flying with someone else. So it's always you and either somebody who's senior or junior to you. Me, I'm a pretty junior pilot right now. So I always fly with somebody who's more senior, more experienced, just because I don't have the status of aviation to be able to fly by myself, which is currently what everybody who's like junior like I am, we all work toward being able to fly with a junior person. So it's always 2. And then you in Blackhawks, you fly with people in the back seat. I'm currently flying medevac right now, so I fly like kind of life flight on the military side. But we can fly with crew chiefs, which like the crew chiefs will fix the aircraft, or we'll fly with medics. And medics, obviously, they do what they're supposed to do as medics because we do medevac. So
okay, got it.
But they're also fully functioning. All the medics are fully functioning backseaters. So like they do everything.
So like they can fly if they needed to.
No, none of your backseaters fly. Only the pilots fly.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure all of the backseaters could fly. They're just not. But they're not supposed to fly.
Got it. They're just a backseater. That's just where they chill.
They're all very, very, very experienced and very good at what they do. Like we in the Black community, like would not be able to do what we do without any of them.
Y'all are a team.
Yeah. It's because of them.
So I think this is maybe sort of where Emily was headed, but okay, so you're in Kansas. Obviously, a lot's going on in Lubbock, Texas right now. I'm wondering what the day-to-day life is like for you. How do you kind of juggle going and watching games, flying? How many days a week are you flying? What is day-to-day life like for you?
Well, right now I fly about once a week. I'm actually flying this evening, so that's why I'm like not at work. But like if you fly in the evening, in the aviation world, there's a big like you only have a certain amount of hours you can work during the duty day, and you'll get this a lot with like the civilian aircraft or like in commercial airlines. Like if you have like an 8-hour delay, typically you won't cancel for maintenance or weather. You'll cancel because the pilots like don't have any more duty day left. And it's a big like mitigating factor in aviation that allows like make sure that your pilots are sharp, make sure that they know what they're doing whenever they get in the aircraft and they can save the aircraft or save lives if they need to. So I don't have to go to work until later today because of my duty day, because I'm flying tonight. But I fly about once a week. That's the average of my unit right now, which for some Army units, that's not a lot. For some Army units, that is a lot, which is, I'm incredibly thankful to even fly once a week. So I love it. But I work like, it depends on what time I have to show. No day in the Army is the same. And I think everybody in the Army will tell you that. But I pretty much work like a 9 to 5, give or take if I have to do like physical training in the morning, like PT. So I work like a 9 to 5, and I do that Monday through Friday. And then on Friday, after I finish work, I fly out of Manhattan Regional, which is the airport that's closest to Fort Riley. And I'm on like the 6 p.m. flight every single Friday. I fly to wherever Jacob is. And then on Sunday morning, I get like the earliest flight out of either Lubbock or wherever we are. And I get back here at like noon, get ready for the week. And then I do it all over again.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. So
yeah.
how far are you into your 10 years of service?
I'm about like just over a year into it.
Okay. And has it been what you thought? Like, I mean, I guess I'm just a terribly, terribly scared human being, because the thought of like, I admire those who serve our country so incredibly much, but it terrifies the shit out of me, to be brutally honest with you. That's not a decision you make lightly.
Right.
What kind of factored into that, as far as, I know you said you wanted to fly, but like the desire to serve your country?
Well, I'll backtrack for a second. It's like me saying that I'm only a year into my 10-year commitment makes it sound like I've only been in the Army for a year. I commissioned in 2023, but my time in service for aviation didn't start until a year ago.
Got it.
So I'm about 2.5 years into my service, but a year into like aviation.
Got it.
Like a year into my commitment for aviation, because that typically doesn't finish until after you finish flight school. Which a lot of people, I don't know why people still think I'm in flight school on the internet, but people do. But
let's clear that up right now. Emma is not in flight school.
I am a full aviator, I guess. I'm not a pilot in command, which if people who are aviators who watch this, I'm not a pilot in command yet, but I'm trying to be. And I think everyone else is who's like me. But, my desire to serve in the Army, I think that it just happened throughout my life. Neither of my parents are military, which a lot of military members do come from like military families, but I was not like that. And I just always wanted to be in the Army. I didn't know the difference between like enlisting, being an officer. I didn't know any of that. So I literally wanted to just be in the Army. I don't know why. It was just a strong desire that I had in my whole life. And I think a lot of it stems from my parents. Like, they're very big into serving their community and serving people who are around them. Like, I grew up with the most incredible parents in the world, and I love them to death. And then I have 3 sisters who are also incredible. And also my identical twin sister is actually in the Air Force. She's way cooler than I am. I don't even think I'm that cool, but she's way cooler than I am because she flies T-38s for the Air Force.
Jeez.
She is still in flight
your
school.
Family.
But T-38s are the fighter jet training platform.
Okay.
Oh, she flies jets.
Yeah, and that's terrifying. I have so much anxiety for y'all.
What she does is crazy.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. So cool. Okay, so tell us about your story with Jacob, I guess, how y'all met and how you knew at such a sweet young age that he was the one and y'all were ready to make this thing official and be there by his side for forever and vice versa.
Well, we met in high school and we kind of started dating in high school, but we kind of dated for like 3-ish years. And then we broke up whenever I was a junior at West Point, because I'm 2 years older than him. So I was a senior and he was a sophomore whenever we started dating in high school. And then I went off to college. He stayed back in high school, obviously played high school football. And whenever we met, like, I don't know what in me decided that Jacob was the man I was going to marry, but I knew whenever we were in high school that I was going to marry him. And his brother who officiated our wedding will say the same thing, because Jacob's the only man who I've ever cried over. Like, whenever we broke up or like whenever anything happened, like I'd cry. And I was not a crier until I met Jacob. Like, he made me, like, I've always been a very strong and independent, like, young woman. That's what my dad always raised me and my three sisters to be. But until I met Jacob, I like did everything by myself, other than like with my twin sister. Like, we were very self-sustaining, me and my twin. And then I met Jacob, and he's the most incredible man you've ever met. I don't know if you guys have had the privilege to meet him, but I can't say enough good things about him just because he's so awesome.
So so y'all met in high school.
Yes.
And then, when did you, after you broke up, then when did you reconnect?
So we got back together in my senior year. So we were broken up for about a year, got back together in my senior year. And whenever we decided that we were going to, like in fall of my senior year, and whenever we decided that we were going to get back together, we were like, we've already dated previously. There's no reason for us to date for 10 more years. We know that we want to get married, because that year that we took apart was so beneficial, because it allowed us to grow up. It allowed both of us to experience life without the other one. And it just taught us so much. Like, Jacob will tell you probably the exact same thing, that it was just the most beneficial for us, and we wouldn't go back and change it. Maybe change some of the things that we both did while we were broken up. But
we've all been there, honey. We've all been there.
We would not change that time apart. So whenever we got back together, we decided we were going to get married. And then we decided that we were also going to do a surprise wedding whenever we got back together, because we didn't want to have a traditional wedding. We're not very traditional people, in the sense of, like, we didn't have a wedding where it was like we sent out invitations and then we sent out save the dates, and we sent out invitations, and then I went dress shopping with like my mother and his mother, and then we picked out all the center. We didn't do that. My twin sister at the time was getting married, and she was planning a wedding. I was helping her plan the wedding as her maid of honor. And I looked at her, I was like, Aubrey, I'm never going to do this. And she was like, what do you mean? I was like, I'm not planning a wedding. That's a bit ridiculous. That's way too much. That's way too much to do. So Jacob and I decided we were going to do a surprise wedding. So a month after my twin sister, Aubrey, got married, Jacob and I what we did was an engagement. Everybody was there to watch us get engaged. But
they knew you were back together.
Yes, they knew we were back
I was
together.
about to say, what if you just came in hot,
Yes.
like after a year of being broken up, and you're like, welcome to our wedding.
We were back together for like 6 months before we got married. 7 months. And then we got engaged. And then we said like a thank you to everyone. We were like, oh, thank you guys for coming to our wedding. To our engagement. But we surprised all of you, and this is our wedding. And the only people who knew about it was like my sister and then his brother. And then we got married, and it was awesome. It was the best
cool.
day ever.
Okay, where was that?
In Texas, just outside of Houston.
Okay. What was everyone's reaction? Was anyone not surprised by that little wedding bomb?
The only person who wasn't surprised was his oldest sister, Katie. As soon as we were like, this is our wedding, she was like, I knew it. She had asked us like right beforehand. So we originally only told one of his brothers who was officiating our wedding. And then his other brother, his wife, who they just had their first baby. We are so excited for them. But his other brother, Jeremiah, his wife, Jasmine, had texted me and was like, hey, just so I can be prepared, like, are you guys getting married? And I was like, Jacob, she's going to tell people that we're getting married. Like, we have to tell them. And so we told Jeremiah and Jasmine. So Jasmine then was able to help me plan. She's the most organized person in the entire world. So that was very helpful. Like, whenever you think of like ultimate organization in a human being, that's Jasmine. She's incredible.
God, it sounds like I would love her. That sounds like I would love her.
So great. But so then she helped us. And then my sisters, all three of them knew. But Katie, Jacob's oldest sister, she had kind of like said something to us at, I think it was Christmas that year. She was like, or I guess we were together for like 8 months before we got married. But anyway, she was like, oh, it would be so funny if you guys did a surprise wedding. And Jacob and I just like looked at each other, and we were like, oh yeah, that would be hilarious, but we're not doing that because we're just going to get married at a courthouse after we get engaged. And she was like, oh, but it would be cool though. And she said it in front of everyone. And we were like, she knows. But she didn't ever say anything else after that. So then on the day whenever we got married, she was like, I knew it. I knew that this was going to happen. I don't know why I didn't trust myself. Like, I knew this was going to happen.
That's so awesome. And so how long have y'all been married?
We've been married for 2 years.
Okay. And when's your anniversary?
July 1st.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
I think it's so cool to see. And I feel like people can maybe learn a lot from you guys because you're obviously an independent, like badass woman and not afraid to say that this man means a lot to you. You love him so much. You want him by your side forever. And I'm sure vice versa. You both are doing amazing things. How impactful has your support for each other been in both of y'all's early life success?
Jacob is the most incredible man I've ever met, like I said earlier. But it's whenever you don't have, like, if your significant other doesn't also have a very driven career, or if you are long distance and you have a significant other who like doesn't have like a very high, I don't know how to say it, but high
like
opinion.
high set goals or
Yeah.
achieving, yeah.
Well, yeah, but high goals, but like isn't busy on a day-to-day basis.
Right.
Like it's very difficult whenever one of you is busy and the other one is not. So that's been a big like driving factor for the both of us is he's extremely busy. He's extremely driven. Whenever you read any type of like book about how to be like a better person or like how to be a leader or how to like the book Atomic Habits.
Yeah.
Perfect example. Jacob's never read that book. Jacob is that book. He doesn't need to read it. He does that already without reading about it. Like that is who he is as like a person. Like he's just so incredibly driven. He's the person who like your alarm goes off, he wakes up, which is crazy to me. That's not who I am.
That'll come in so handy when y'all have kids.
Yes.
Like, he's very good about that. But for me, I'm also incredibly driven. But I like until I met Jacob, I was just all about like career. And there's nothing wrong with people who are all about their career. Like there's no issue with that whatsoever. But like I was only about my career my entire life, or like what I was gonna go do. And then I met Jacob and I was like, okay, I would love to do my life with him. And so now we get the opportunity I get to live out my career. He gets to live out his career. We get to do it together, but like in different parts of the country, unfortunately. If we get to do it together, and Jacob's mom always says this, that the only thing that would make all of this better is if we got to be together every day, because that's so true. Like if I got to spend every single day with Jacob, like I would truly be unstoppable, I do believe. But the worst part is that I don't get to do it with Jacob. But having somebody who is also just as driven as you is so incredibly important. Like I don't want to say that, but
say whatever you want,
settling for somebody who's not as driven as you and is not going to like push you forward. Jacob is my biggest cheerleader in the world, and I'm his biggest cheerleader. Like I would do anything for him. He would do anything for me. And there's nothing that like, we always talk about it, that if something happened and like today I had to leave the Army or today he had to stop playing football, we would do it in order to be like with each other or to be like in the same place. Like no matter what, if at the end of the day I had to give all of this away and he had to give all of what he was doing away to be together, we would do it. But we're not doing that. But like if we had to, we would.
Yeah,
and that's just very healthy thing, I think.
Yeah, and that's huge for you guys, right? To have that understanding that like you're going to, you know, like you said, be his biggest cheerleader and he's going to be yours. And when you're both in the midst of such important and pivotal times in your life, that's a huge, you know, attribute to have in your partner. And, you know, with that being said, you know, he's spoken very openly about how incredibly proud he is of you. What has it been like for you to see him not only kind of live out his dreams, but to overcome what he overcame? I mean, you're talking about a guy that was a quarterback at Virginia and then, you know, transfers to Tech. They move him to linebacker. He's sleeping on his brother's floor or something. I mean, it's not like he was this, you know, heralded 5-star recruit that was getting looked at by everyone. I mean, he's had to, you know, to carve his own way out in this process.
So whenever we were broken up, that was actually the time that he left Virginia and came to Texas Tech. So I was not a part of like that decision whatsoever. I was like, we were together and I wasn't a part of the decision, but I was kind of a factor, I guess, whenever he decided to go play quarterback at Virginia. And I think that he just really needed to go experience being a quarterback, and he needed to go do that for like childhood Jacob, to go live out that dream. And then whenever he realized it didn't work, that was a big thing that he kind of learned, because whenever we first were dating before we like broke up and got back together, I always would say that I like had experienced life in literally no sense whatsoever, but at that time. But I would always say like that I had made choices for myself and he hadn't made choices for himself, in the sense of like, he wasn't a golden child. His life, whenever he was growing up, like he did not have an easy family life. He has incredible parents who worked incredibly hard to give him the life that he has, but his parents were not always like, they really struggled like very early in their children's lives, just because of his dad's job and them having to move across the country to really uproot their life and try and start over. And his parents are the most loving. Like the reason why Jacob is the person who he is because of his parents. But they tried to give him everything. And whenever he came out of high school and he wanted to go follow that dream, he went to Virginia, lived out that dream, and then like we were broken up and he decided like, hey, this is awesome. I could stay here and still play football and like be on a Ford scholarship, or I could make the decision to literally leave everything and start over. And he says that that was like one of the most pivotal like times in his life. And like when he understood that like I had made the decision to go be in the Army at that point for 7 years whenever we broke up. Because whenever you're a junior at West Point, you sign a 7-year contract to be in the Army. That's whenever your like commitment for West Point like becomes a thing. And for Jacob, so I had made that huge decision. We broke up and he didn't want any part of the Army whenever we like broke up at that time. Because he was like, I don't want to be across the country from you. I want to be with you, next to you. And I had chosen for us that I was not going to do that. And then we broke up. He decided that he was going to go to Texas Tech with Coach McGuire. Love Coach McGuire. Literally, that man has changed our lives. I love him so much. I would do anything for him. But he gets to Texas Tech. We're not talking at this point like I'm talking to his brother. I was distraught whenever we broke up. It was not my decision to break up. It was Jacob's. Let that be known. But I was distraught. But I was talking to Jacob's brother because I was like, I was still trying to like be there for Jacob, but not like talk to him, because I knew he needed his space to like figure out life. So he went to Texas Tech, and I don't know the whole process. I wasn't part of that. But I know that like knowing who Jacob is, he is the most humble, the most hardworking man you will ever meet in your life. He literally on his bathroom mirror has "Why Not Me" written like on his mirror.
Wow. Like
he looks at that every day. He has like a verse written. And he, at the beginning of the year, he set goals for himself, like truly achievable goals. And he was like, I will do that. And then as like all these like postseason like awards and things have come out, he's just like sat there I bought him a whiteboard like at the beginning of the year, because he would always text me like, oh, I need to be able to write all these things down. So we bought a whiteboard. It's the most boyish apartment you've ever seen. There's just the only thing hanging on the wall is a whiteboard. And so he like wrote these goals, and then like last weekend, or I guess this past weekend, whenever I was there after all these award ceremonies, he goes and he like checks off all of those goals. He's like, I did it. He's like, it's all, and we always say it's all extra now. From here on out, it's just extra. And Texas Tech achieved the goals that they want to achieve. They're not done yet. And like Jacob achieved the goals that he wanted to achieve, but he's not done yet. So it's all extra. And he's just thankful that he's able to like live this now. But it's truly because of how hardworking he is that he's in this position. Like I could not I would not expect anyone else to be like this, but Jacob truly like, and you guys have all like watched him play, I guess, for the last 4 years, but he's only played linebacker for 2 years. That's what I say. because he was not a starter his first year. He was a backup, literally just his first ever year playing the position, learning how to be a linebacker. He was a backup. And he did really well whenever he was a backup. And then the next year, he got injured in the first game of the year, and he didn't play all year. So there's 2 years that he didn't fully play linebacker. And so he fully played linebacker last year and then this year. And so I think that he's played for 2 years, and in 2 years, he's been able to do all of this. And he still looks at me every single day like, I think he's an incredible athlete. I think he's an incredible person. I think he's one of the best players, if not, he is the best defensive player in the country now. And it's proven, and nobody can say anything against that because he got the award for it. But I always thought that, and I always knew that. And now it's like, he just tells me all the time, he's like, but I could do so much more. I could be so much better.
Yeah, that's such a great message too, right? To, that not everyone that's in these situations that are up for these awards has that same attitude. I'm not going to mention any names. But yeah, so Jacob, your husband received the Bednarik Award, the Butkus Award, the Lombardi Award, and the Nagurski Trophy, also the Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. How have you seen him and this team? I mean, to me, it seems, and you mentioned Coach McGuire, and I've known Joey for a very long time, and I too adore him, much like you. He has created a culture there that fits Lubbock, Texas, and Texas Tech so very well. How have you seen that with Jacob and his teammates, the evolution of that culture and the unity that this team seems to have?
Well, the biggest thing is that he was a high school football coach, so he has that mentality, and it's so prevalent in college sports. I played softball my freshman year at West Point, and then I was on the strength team for 3 years after that. Whenever I was on the softball team my freshman year, I saw the difference between a college coach and a high school coach. A high school coach goes to your families and cares about what your family's doing on a day-to-day basis, cares about how your mom is, cares about how your dad is, cares about what your sisters and your brothers are doing, knows most likely every single person in your family's name. A college coach knows you because they don't interact with your family on a day-to-day basis. Your family probably doesn't travel to all your college games. But Coach McGuire knows every single person's name who enters the Jones, and if he doesn't know your name, he'll find out what it is. Like, that's who he is as a person. He knows, he's met my family one time. I guarantee you he could tell you their names. Like Emma's family, not Emma Rodriguez's family with Jacob. But like he's met my parents probably one time, and I guarantee you if he saw them again, it would be like he's known them his entire life. So I think that's the culture that Coach McGuire brings to Texas Tech, is that he is the most personable guy you've ever met. And he brings that small school, high school football idea to a very large team, and he makes these guys be a family. Like, that's what he always preaches every single day, of you will love each other and you will play hard for each other because of your love for each other. And you don't see that in college sports. Whenever I was in softball, I didn't see that. And I had a lot of friends who were on multiple different teams at school, and I didn't hear that from anybody, maybe other than like the wrestling team, because those guys are literally crazy. But you don't see that. It's very, very rare to have a coach who loves you that much and then makes his players love each other, because that's what they're going to play for. And if you don't love what you're doing, if you don't love who you're around, you're not going to excel. And that's what he brings to the table. And you see it every single day. You're literally, if you walk into the Jones, you'll feel that. So
amazing. Yeah. Okay, so how pumped are y'all for the upcoming rest of the season, the playoffs, to see what Texas Tech can do now with so many eyeballs on this team after so long trying to fight to get to this spot? How pumped are you guys, and what are your plans for watching?
Well, I will, God willing, be at the Orange Bowl. I'm very excited. But I am so incredibly excited for this team. I want this for them. I want them to do everything. But I know that they are so incredibly focused, and they are so driven, and these guys are the most disciplined group of young men that I've ever been around, because they don't get ahead of themselves, and they like being the underdog. They like being the team that people root against. They like being the people who, say we can't do it, we'll do it. Like, they love whenever that happens. And so I think that in the last, like, I obviously wasn't a part of like the Texas Tech family or Red Raider Nation until I got married to Jacob. But you can see how impactful this team has been on Lubbock, on Texas Tech. And I'm so incredibly excited for them, and I'm excited for Jacob. But these guys they deserve it. They've earned it. And I think that every single day they're going to prove to the world why they earned it and why they're going to hold the trophy at the end.
Well,
So.
I can attest as a 1998 graduate, you probably weren't even born at that point in time, graduate of Texas Tech, that this team has changed everything, and it's been so much fun to watch. And we're going to let you go, but I want to ask you one more thing about an announcement that was made, I think Big 12 Championship weekend, about the new partnership with Premier Auto Group of Texas and Randon Blacklock to serve military and veteran families. Can you tell me a little bit about that and how people can learn more about it, if there's anything we can do at this point?
So it's still all in the works. We're still working. Actually, that's so funny. Randon just texted me. Like, that's hilarious. But yeah, Jacob and I are so incredibly excited. We're still in the works of like which organization we're going to choose to partner with, which we think that we're going to do multiple organizations. It's probably not just going to be one, but we really do. I obviously and Jacob have a huge love and truly want to support veteran families and military communities. Because I've seen it impact a lot of my soldiers. I've seen it impact soldiers of mine who've gotten out of the Army so far. And I just started my career, so I can't imagine how many more there's going to be. But yeah, we're so excited to be able to give back to communities and give back to people that truly, some of them give, their families give everything. So yeah, but we don't have I don't have any like good way to like give you information about it yet, other than it's literally we're in the works and we're trying to get it all put together right now. So I think that that's what Randon's text literally was just about. But a lot of people do ask me about this, and I know that, I don't know if you guys remember, during the Big 12 Championship game, Jacob got to hit the crossbar.
Yep.
At the
that was Pat McAfee, wasn't it?
McAfee.
He offered him what, $250,000 if he hit the crossbar?
Which is incredible. And
so it was how far away was it, Emma? It was like,
I think he was like 20 yards away. Also, I had no clue that was happening.
It didn't look like did he know?
Jacob knew.
He knew. Okay. So
But
they've got him mic'd up. I'm gonna Phil Julian. So they've got Jacob mic'd up. They're interviewing him before. And then you know how Pat McAfee does the field goal. Well, this wasn't throw it through the uprights. This was hit the crossbar. And he fucking did it.
Wow.
Yeah, he threw it, and it was $250 to be donated, to a charity of his choice, right?
$250,000.
Yeah, that's pretty
the
epic,
thousands
amazing.
a big piece of that. That's amazing.
Yeah,
It was incredible. But we did choose an organization. We're waiting until after like the holidays kind of slow down to like kind of make that announcement with Pat McAfee and get like the organization. So we haven't, it's not like public news yet.
Sure.
But we have chosen an organization, and we're so incredibly excited for the organization that we chose, just because I think that they're doing incredible things for the military families, for children of military families. So, but
we'll make sure to spread the word.
Yeah, you and Emma, let us know. I told you this off the top. You're such a badass, and I'm so excited we got to have you on. Please let us know once you do, figure out how people can help and get behind your efforts and what you and Jacob are doing. Please let us know. We are happy to spread the word. I cannot wait to follow this tech team. I am so thrilled to have gotten to talk to you, and please give Jacob our best, and from this Red Raider, I'm so effing happy. So thank you, love.
Thank you so much
the rest of
for
the way.
making time for us.
Yeah, and we'll talk to you soon.
Well, thank you.
Wreck
I
'em.
really appreciate it.
Wreck 'em. There we go.
And our Texas Tech special edition of the Mom Game just gets better. Some breaking news, Emily.
Breaking news.
The head coach of the Red Raiders, a return guest on the Mom Game, is back for more.
Joey McGuire, how are you, honey?
I am doing great. Thanks for having me. I've done a lot of podcast and radio and all that, but I was really fired up whenever you asked me to come on here because y'all are rock stars.
You're so nice.
I love Joey. Yeah, I texted him last week after the show, and I was like, hey, I know it's a long shot. Any chance you can come on the mom game next week? And he's like, I'm in. Get with Matt, figure out my schedule, and we'll make it work. So you're so sweet. And I just want to start with that. Like, I've known you for a really, really long time, Joey. And, I said this on our show last week, unsolicited, not knowing you were going to come on, that you get it. Like, you just get it. You get Lubbock, you get Texas Tech, you get our fan base. You just get it. And throughout all this process and all the success that you've had, you still take the time to do things like this. And when I sent you a message from a Texas Tech fan who lost her husband, and she was going to be at the Big 12 championship game, and it was her birthday, and you recorded a video for her, leading up to the biggest game in this program's history. And I just want to say personally, thank you for being such a wonderful friend and for being such a fantastic ambassador for our sweet little university.
You bet. You know how much I love this place. I think it helps a lot that I'm a Texan. I've never been anywhere else, so I grew up understanding Texas Tech, and then I have a lot of connections. I've been, my daughter went here, my sister, 2 brother-in-laws, my nephew played for Cliff, my best friend played for Spike, my dog was born in Lubbock, so like there's just so many connections out here. I love this place. It's so special.
So speaking of special, obviously this team is doing some amazing things this college football season that no Texas Tech team has done before, winning the Big 12 championship. Now, of course, awaiting New Year's Day playoff game. What makes this team special, Coach?
We've said it, and I really believe it. Our love for each other is our superpower. Like, I've been doing this for 31 years. I have been so lucky to be a part of incredible teams. My son has said this since I hired him. He keeps saying year 4. So year 4 at Cedar Hill, we went 16-0. I had 56 seniors that had been with me since they were freshmen in high school. And so that was such a close group, and they loved each other so much. I've had a bunch of them come out here to Lubbock to games. They're still really close. And this is how this team is. Like, when you walk in this building, you can feel like it feels different. Like, they really care about each other. They love being around each other. They have a lot of fun in everything they do. And I think that's what's really pushed us to where we're at. I mean, a lot of talent, don't get me wrong, a lot of talent. We're going to have a ton of guys get drafted in the NFL this year, but they really care about each other.
And Joey, that's not as easy as it used to be because of the transfer portal, because of NIL, all these different things that have been introduced into the college football landscape over the last couple of years. So I would imagine that creating that culture and that chemistry and the brand that you talk about, it makes it a little more difficult. And you've got to have the buy-in both from the guys who have been with you since day one and those that are coming into the fold, right?
We got really lucky with Baron Morton coming back and being a Red Raider. Jake Rodriguez could have declared last year. Bryce Ramirez. There's a really core group of guys that are playing at a really high level that were here. And whenever I gave them, I'm really upfront, and I tell people my plan. I want to be transparent. I want to give them, things that here's the truth. This is what it is. Let them digest it, and see if they can help. And so I was really transparent with those guys and say, look, we're going to go into the portal. We're going to be really aggressive. We're going to increase this talent level. But for us to win, you guys have got to help me create this team and this culture. And Baron, was very intentional. You go into the cast. That's where we eat every day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And he's sitting with a freshman defensive lineman and a, transfer wide receiver. Like, it wasn't him sitting by a group that he's known for the last 2 or 3 years. Jake Rodriguez was the same way, and then the thing that I tell recruits, whether they're freshmen or whether they're portal guys, everybody in this building is here to make them the best version of themselves. That's their sole job, whatever their job is. And I think if the players feel that and see that every day, then they really buy into what you're trying to get them to do.
So, Coach, I listened a little bit to our last interview here on the Mom Game earlier today, and one of the things, a lot of it stood out, and I feel like from everything we've heard and seen, you've held very true to the type of coach that you said you wanted to be for the Red Raiders, being the word you used back then, 3 years ago, was genuine. You wanted to be a genuine head coach, and by all accounts, that's exactly what you've been able to do. How important is that to this team chemistry and for this team to be able to have the success that they've had? I'm sure that genuine word trickles all the way down throughout the locker room, and you were just speaking about it, but how important is that in college football?
I think it's really important, in life in general, but especially in the world we live in right now, where there's so many things changing. And, I've been in college now for 9 years, and year 1 to year 9, the rules and what's going on, it's unrecognizable. There's nothing, that's the same other than, man, if you really care and love about players, you're going to have a shot to, do some really great things. But, what I always think is really important is, I used to say this until I came out here. I changed it up. I used to say I'm kind of like the sun. I'm going to be a constant, like, no matter what, if I'm having a good day or a bad day, I'm having a great day whenever I get around the players. And so now I'm out here. Sonny Cumbie kind of put me onto this, but I'm like the pump jack. It's just constant. Like it's whether it's raining or whether it's snowing or whatever it is, that pump jack's still working. And I think that's important. When we got beat by Arizona State, the one thing I said on that Sunday is this is the first time this group has ever lost a game. And there's people that have been at different places that have seen coaches react in different ways to losses. And what I wanted them to understand is, and I'm the exact same way, like I'm going to figure out why we lost, but I'm still going to have great energy. I'm going to be positive. I'm going to, show up. And when they walk in the building, I'm going to give them a hug and be excited to see them, and I think they appreciate that. So whenever I ask them to do things or things that we're trying to do, they're more willing to do because they know they're getting the same guy every single day.
I texted you after the morning of the BYU game, the first one during the regular season when College Gameday made its visit to Lubbock. And I texted you and just said, effing masterclass in public relations. And I know that wasn't intentional, that you weren't trying to, you and Kirby and your entire staff put on a masterclass in PR, but can you speak to that experience between your team and that fan base during that week?
Honestly, I have never seen anything like it. And, I heard President Skubanek say the other day, I think we're up like 38% in applications for Texas Tech.
Wow.
We literally have our largest freshman class on campus right now. They just finished their first semester. And I just wish every college student could experience that week. Like it was honestly the coolest thing I've ever been a part of. I walked out of my office Sunday and there were 3 tents. And by Thursday night, I don't know if there was a college bar open in Lubbock because there was no reason to be because everybody was in tents out here right outside of our building. There were thousands. I think the one point right around here was like 2,100 people. And then that wasn't even counting the people that were camping out where College Gameday was located. And, man, just the students had such a blast and they were all in, and it was a great environment. And our players appreciated, when we play at home on Wednesdays, we practice in the stadium and we don't start off in the stadium, we end in the stadium. And so we got to walk through all the students going down into the stadium. And man, they were just so appreciative. And then some of the guys after practice, hung out. Romello Height was playing Xbox with a bunch of students, and Jacob Rodriguez was taking pictures and Baron Morton. It was just such a positive, great experience. I think whenever you go back, I'd heard so many times about 2008, the catch. And for this group of students to be able to experience something like that, they'll never forget. And I just appreciate them. That's what's so great about Texas Tech.
How did they handle all the attention? How are they handling all the attention? I mean, kind of becoming these like celebrities at this point, and you do have a long gap in between games right now. How do you feel like their headspace is of the team after having such a successful season so far and the biggest game yet to come?
Yeah, they're handling it well. We felt like we were going to be really special this year. So from day one during camp, we started talking about embracing the pressure, and running to it versus, shying away from it. And that's been really big. And then, we talk all the time about having an attitude of gratitude and humility. And so I think whenever you have that attitude, it makes all of this other stuff going on around us more special. You can appreciate it more, because you get to see, like you see stuff, you don't miss it because, you're in the moment. And so I think that's a big part of it. We talk about that all the time, about, being where your feet are and appreciating the things. I sent out a text last night, so I'm a cigar smoker. And so I'm sitting on the back porch last night, smoking a cigar, watching the Monday Night Football, and I sent it to my staff, and I sent it to all the players. I said, I'm sitting here smoking a cigar, taking a deep breath, and I said, how lucky are we that we get to play in the Orange Bowl? Like, how cool is that? And I think if you keep that in front of them in those moments, they appreciate the moments more, and they're in the moment more than thinking of other things.
For you, you just signed an extension, which amen to that. That was not your name never came up anywhere else. And there's been quite the fruit basket turnover in the college coaching landscape. I think I heard you say, and I don't even think I needed to hear you say, that was very much by design.
Yes. This in the world that you live in. So much of the names out there, whether they're real or not, are driven by your agent. And my 13-year-old Crowley self laughs every time I say I have an agent. Like, I'm like, come on, dude. Like,
okay, wait, hold on. I got to stop you and tell you this. This will make you feel better. So when the very first time when I was in Lubbock, I was with an agency called NS Beanstalk, and this is one of the most embarrassing stories you could ever. Whatever. I am who I am. I don't give a shit anymore. But so I was so excited because here I was in Lubbock, but I had got approached by this agent, and I had an agent, and so my friends got me a shirt made that said, "Talk to my agent." And I wore it in Las Vegas when we went on a trip or something. And I was like, that mortifies me so much. But I was so proud at the time. And now I'm like, that was one of the dumbest things I've ever done. So I understand the whole agent thing.
I love that. I'm going to tell you, I'm actually might get one of those shirts. And when Debbie says something to me, I'm going to say, hey, you need to talk to my agent.
Listen, I know Debbie well enough to know that is not going to go over well.
You're going to laugh out of her.
Yeah,
but that was intentional, right?
It's very intentional. I meant it. Like, I've been 4 places. I always tell everybody I'm kind of a unicorn of football. I was at Crowley for 3 years. I was at Cedar Hill for 20. I was at Baylor for 5. And whenever I say I'll be here for the rest of my life, we've got to take care of business, and keep winning football games and do what you're supposed to do to keep your job. But, I mean that. Like, one of my really good friends is Bob Stoops. He's got a great book called No Excuses, and it's a great read for anybody. If you're a sports fan, it's a great read, but just for life in general, it's a great read. And he would always talk about, like, he had opportunities to leave OU, but what job are you leaving for? And that's what I look at. Like, we have a brand new facility. It's as good as anywhere in the country. We're sharing the revenue in our NIL at the highest level. I worked for an AD that played college football. He gets it. I worked for an incredible president. And then our board of regents is as aligned as you can get. Like, you start looking at Cody Campbell, his name's on the field. Dusty Womble, his name's on the basketball and football facility. Clay Cash, his name's on our nutrition building where we eat. And Tim Colt's an absolute rock star out of Midland. You look at that, then you turn around like out of Houston, Gary Peterson, his name's on the field club. I mean, these are guys. Mike Wallace, his name's right outside my office. Like, these guys that are all in, they're so aligned. You can't find that at other places, and so why would you ever leave a place like this?
I love it. It definitely sounds like it's family to you. And you are also, I just think it's cool when you can balance kind of being a father figure to these football players. You're also a dad yourself. How much is your family enjoying this ride, and how are you making time for the dad stuff?
Yeah, man, I'm really fortunate. My daughter's a Red Raider, so she's been out here. Her and her husband have been out here in the Big 12 like 5 or 6 games. They'll be at the Orange Bowl. I was really fortunate. Nebraska had a coaching change, and we had a coaching change with Kitley getting a Florida Atlantic job. And so I was able to hire my son. So he's our running backs coach, and brought his fiance with him from Lincoln. And so, like, it's awesome that I get to work with him every day. Mom's really happy. Debbie's as happy as you can get, because she gets to see her son. He lives about 5 minutes from us. He bought a house here in Lubbock. And so it's pretty awesome. And then Debbie's all in. Like, you come around here, everybody calls her Miss Debbie. She's usually, all our wives are up here every Wednesday for practice. All the kids are running around at the end of practice, but Debbie, she's all in with these guys. We have team dinners or position dinners every Thursday at my house during the season, and we actually added it to the spring this year because she wanted to get to know all the new guys. But I mean, she knows every one of them. Everybody that's new, she studies the roster, to make sure she knows where they're from, who their parents are, everything. She's all in. We're really, really fortunate to have somebody that's all in like she is.
I want to let you brag on Raegan for a second, too, because I saw the dud she put you in for the Big 12 championship game. Does she have anything special planned for the Orange Bowl?
Well, she actually made a dress for Emma. Y'all just got to talk about Emma. Yes. She made a dress for Emma for some of these award ceremonies. But what's really cool, she definitely showed that she is a Red Raider. She just resigned from her company and went all in on her own brand. It's called Serene. I'm probably saying that wrong. It's an Italian name, but she's been really successful. She's done a dress for Taylor Swift. She's had a dress on the cover of People magazine, on the cover of 17 magazine, and she surprised me. I had no idea, because she's never done anything for, like, it's always been, her designs and everything are always for women. And I had no idea that she would ever do anything, with menswear and everything like that. She knocks on my door at the hotel and gives me a brand new sports coat for the Big 12 championship. And it's really cool too. All the inside is designed for us. It has everybody's name. It has a message from her, has our dog's picture in it, like, just different stuff like that. So it's really cool.
And then I want to ask you, you brought up, the Board of Regents and how in line they are, and the supporters of this program. Obviously, my neighbor and good friend, Cody Campbell, has gotten the lion's share of the headlines in that regard, as far as not only what he's done for the Texas Tech program, but for what he's trying to do as far as kind of the revamping of college football. So, there's a little more, consistency across the board. Can you speak to that relationship and kind of, how entwined you two are as far as trying to, not only make Texas Tech better, but make college football better in the long term?
Yeah. I got to give a shout out, because I think he's probably your neighbor too, John Sellers.
Oh, yeah, of course he is. And, John's hilarious. Yeah, I saw him at the Big 12 championship game. John's the best. Yeah.
And you've got to tip your hat to Tracy because of what she did
for sure.
in women's football, and man, they're incredible. I mean, I don't know if they'll get beat this year. God, I mean, that's, you're talking about a special team, and I can't wait for that. You know, the great thing, this is what I'm so fortunate. I know I have a job. I know I have a job to do, and I know how you keep the job. You win. But I'm really fortunate that I get to come to work, and I work with friends. You know, Kirby and I are really close. But Cody and I have become really close. Tara, his wife, and Debbie are really close. And so the thing that I wish everybody could really understand with Cody is, without a doubt, he's going to do what's best for Texas Tech. But when it comes to college athletics and what he's trying to get everybody to understand, this is best for college athletics. This is best for women's sports. This is best for the Olympic sports, because, you know, the driving force, whether we like it or not or whatever it is, the revenue sports are football and men's basketball. And without those sports being successful, every other sport, you know, is going to, you know, be in danger. Well, the problem is where, you know, the pro sports, when you look at the NBA, when you look at NFL, they've been able to negotiate as a whole their media rights. And college football hasn't been able to do that. And we're missing out on so much money as a whole because we're so stuck in the conferences, like what's best for the conference. And we're missing out on what's best for college athletics. That's where Cody is. Cody is all in. And, you know, I know there's a lot of smart people out there, but I'm betting on Cody Campbell being the smartest guy in the room whenever it comes to the business world. You know, and I think more and more people that listen and understand where his heart is, then we can really get this into a really good spot.
Yeah, I remember this was a couple years ago, and there was a kind of a lunch and learn type thing, and Cody spoke at it. And it was the first time, I mean, I've known Cody since he was playing at Tech, you know, 20 some odd years ago. And he was always kind of this shy but dry, you know. I just was like, I wonder, I'd never heard him speak. And, you know, he just, you know, laid out what was happening in college sports, how it was affecting Texas Tech, and really made it a point like there's going to be universities that are going to let women's sports, Olympic sports go by the wayside. And he made it very clear Texas Tech is not going to be one of those universities. We are not, that's not going to happen. And in order for it not to happen, this is what we've got to do as an alumni base, as you know, supporters of the programs, the athletic department as a whole. And so I've been, you know, I've been proud at, you know, as his friend for the kind of the, and, you know, and that's not going to, it's so funny, total sidetrack. So, you know, you see shit all the time on the internet that it's just completely false, not true at all. So there was a picture of, I don't know if you saw this, I sent it to Cody and I was like, what next? But it was talking about how Cody, and it had a picture of a guy that was supposed to be Cody, wasn't Cody, and Jeffrey Epstein, and talking about how they were really good friends. And I was like, what in the actual hell is happening? You know, you're going to get hit with criticism along the way, right? Especially, you know, you got a butt ton of money and it's well known what you're doing with that money as far as, you know, contributing to Texas Tech and all that kind of stuff. But it does seem like genuinely he wants to enact change within college sports because it meant so much to him.
I mean, that's the key. Like whenever you listen to him talk, he spoke a couple of years ago to the team, and I told him, I said, and he's really not like this. I said, man, you're going to have to be really arrogant. Like these guys need to know exactly who you are. Like, they know you've got money, but you need to put the B behind it. Like, they need to, like, really shock and awe, get them to understand. Because his point was everything that he's been able to do, it's come from playing for Mike Leach, being in situations to where the noise all around, you were having to quiet the noise and you were, you know, having to push through stuff. And he doesn't want young men or women to miss that opportunity, you know, and that's so crucial in our world today. And so I think he really truly wants to help college athletics. It's not helping just Texas Tech. As he says, we're going to be just fine. We just need to make sure that as a whole. Everybody is, because he wants everybody to have the experience that he had.
One last question, because I like to ask people who are successful in their career and in life, something that we can kind of glom onto as moms, as listeners, as parents. So what is important to you, for you personally, and also talking to your players about managing stress and just kind of handling the day-to-day demands of life, especially in this day and age with so much social media, like Emily just alluded to? How do you kind of keep that headspace strong for you and your team? Any daily routines, anything that we can copy you on?
Well, we talk all the time. That's a huge topic in our building, is the power of a routine. Like, I think it's really important that you have a routine. There are certain things that are talked about like every single day, and your routine is what we talk about. And I talk about, like, getting up in the morning. The first thing I do whenever I get up in the morning is grab a bottle of water, on my way out. Like, just stuff like that. Like, I'm not going to leave the house without grabbing a bottle of water. And then whenever I get here, of course, now I'm going to start my coffee because I love coffee. So, like, just having that routine. I think the other thing is you have to have somebody, it could be one, it could be a couple of different people. Like, we watched a video yesterday in our team meeting 2 days ago about having a tribe, and having people that you can really be honest with and talk to, I think sometimes, this is going to sound crazy, but I think sometimes it's really important to have, like, you two have each other. I have Kenny Perry. Like, there's some stuff with my wife, I want her to know anything and everything, but I can't unload on her all the time. I need to unload on my best friend, and somebody that's going to hold me accountable, that, is kind of in my world, that will understand me, and so I think that's really important. We talk about that all the time, and being able to handle that. And then just realizing, life is stressful, and it's okay. You're going to be able to fight through it. You just got to have a routine that you're going to be able to go to fight through it.
Okay,
Such
one more
great
thing.
advice. Thank you.
Yeah, that was great advice. One more thing before we go. I'm wearing my J-Rod for Heisman T-shirt. He didn't make it to New York, but he's racking up, basically every defensive award you can imagine. He and in talking to Emma today, what a great story she is and they are. Can you kind of talk about that type of, he's the best player we've had at Texas Tech. Defensively, especially since Zach Thomas. And Zach Thomas is in the Pro Football Hall of Fame now. Can you just kind of speak to him and what he's done for your program, and then also to his, he got a few touchdowns too, not just on the defensive end. How you kind of made that a little interesting, trying to get him that push to New York.
But there's only been one other defensive player in the history of college football to win those 4 awards. And that was my Mantateo at Notre Dame whenever he did that. And then he was invited to the Heisman ceremonies, which, is disappointing, because I do think he's having one of those generational type years. And it's such a great story. I've enjoyed so much getting to know those two. They're very close, to my family. Yeah, I will tell you, this is just the funniest story. So we do this every year on guys that may declare, and we do a PowerPoint information of what the NFL's saying. Should they come back? Should they declare? And everything like that. So we met with Jacob and him. And at the end of the PowerPoint, I turned to Jacob and I said, do you have any questions? And he goes, no, but she does. And she just takes over. Like, it was I was laughing just so hard afterwards. Like, when we were through and I answered all her questions, I said, okay, can I just, enjoy this moment right now? Jacob, just do what she says, because she's the one that's going to run this for a while. And,
yeah.
He is a quieter person, and she is a very outgoing person. So their personalities play off of each other. But I'm really proud of him, man. Like, what a great story. He was pre-NIL to where he's a walk-on sleeping on his brother's floor, and trusted me. I told him, I said, as soon as I had a scholarship, I'll give you one. And he did. He got one that summer. And then, he's had some good NIL deals and had a great NIL deal to come back. And so he's been they bought a house, right outside of the base in Kansas that, she's stationed at. And so it's been really cool. I'm proud of him, man. He's done some great things for this university. He's graduated from Texas Tech, got his degree. He'll be a Red Raider for life.
Well, thank you so much for everything and coming on here. I know it's a busy time for you as you guys prepare for the Orange Bowl, and it's so fun to have had the opportunity to talk to you twice now. So thank you.
Joey, thank you so much. You're the best. Adore you, adore your family. So proud of what you've been able to do. As your friend, I'm proud. And as a Texas Tech alum and diehard Red Raider fan, I am so effing excited for what has happened and what has come or what is to come. And thank you for always being so great to me, to my family. I'll never forget the time you took with Henry when we made the trip down to Lubbock a few years ago. And you're just such a class act, and grateful to call you a friend and grateful to call you my head coach, damn it.
Thank you. I'm going to have you back, and I need you this new group, as we build this team, I need you to help them know how to speak to the media and their personalities come out. That makes a big difference. But thanks for having me on. I'm always a phone call away. I love this. Y'all do such a great job. And if you ever need me, just holler at me.
Okay, back
Thank
at you, Coach.
so
We got to end with our traditional throw up the peace sign, say mom game out, and then we'll fire up a wreck 'em. On the count of three, mom game out.
Mom game out.
Wreck 'em.